Hey, hey, Rambo.
Hello.
Well, are you recovered from your great Jubilee weekend? How did it? I know that you went off in search of some Jubilee
Yeah,
parties.
didn't see what I seen. Like, I went to Manchester. Went into Manchester on, was it the Thursday? Can't remember. It's Thursday or Friday.
Is that when
And
you started your 4-day week? You guys had Thursday, Friday
yeah, so
off,
we
and
had
then
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all classed as like the Jubilee weekend. Like,
uh-huh.
and I seen a few things, but like just flags. No one like no like crowds or anything. Just like flags in pubs, really. Just that's about it.
So you were looking specifically for these street gatherings, these kind of like
Yeah,
neighborhood block parties, all the neighbors getting out, celebrating. I mean, I
nothing.
definitely saw those on my social media for sure. Like social media made it seem like every man, woman, and child in the Commonwealth was gathered with their neighbor drinking and celebrating in mass, everyone together collectively doing this. That was what was projected onto me. I just figured you would stumble upon many, but yeah,
No,
not so
no. I
many.
seen just one of the neighbours over the road there had like a gazebo up with like four of them sat there having a barbecue
Yeah.
with a couple of flags. It was mainly like in pubs, just flags. But what I found, it was extraordinarily quiet everywhere I went on the Thursday. Whichever day, when I went to Manchester, it was like it was a ghost town, and the
Really?
everyone in the bars, when you ask like, where's all like the people who are like, it's bank holiday, where is everyone? And it was like, oh, they're all having house parties and stuff. But I don't know. I
You didn't
didn't.
see it. Yeah. And the
No,
weather
I
was
didn't see
nice,
it. No.
right? The weather was pretty nice.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty nice. It's not too bad, and I didn't really see anything. And I did look around, but other than that guy over the road with his little gazebo, I didn't see any garden parties, house parties, or anything. But I did ask a few barman, like, why is it so quiet here? What? And it's all like, oh, everyone's having like house parties, but I didn't see anything. But one of the nights, I don't know, it's like I've lost track of the days because it's been like a long.
yeah, those long
We
weekends
had
always
like
are like a vortex of
concert
time.
on. We had a concert on, I think it was the Saturday night outside Buckingham Palace. Did you see that? It was on TV.
Yeah.
So I just watched it. I don't know why I watched it, but I did. And it was just, I don't know. I don't know who was enjoying this stuff. And what I was doing while I was watching it doesn't matter whether you don't care. It's kind of forced upon you to take part.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
you've
yeah.
got to watch it. You've got to acknowledge that it's going on, even though if you don't care, even if you didn't turn on your TV, you still got to hear people talking about it. Do you know, like, I don't get the.
I think it's a shared mania. I'm with you. I'm like, why are they so obsessed with splashing all these people on TV, like waving their flags and smiling like maniacs? I think that if you are a casual observer, who doesn't really care, but you turn on the TV and you see these throngs of people jubilous, like full of joy and like going nuts and just smiling and losing beside themselves and waving and just like they think they see the queen and they're like, ah. When you see that on TV as a casual observer, for some people, like we just roll our eyes. We're like, oh boy. But I think some people who may not have any sort of like suspicions, they may actually start firing up some mirror neurons with that. It may actually get someone who's not very excited about it excited just by
Yeah,
seeing other people get so excited.
there's a lot of talk about how they gathered all these stars onto this stage to sing. Every big star was there, and that's because they're all the royal family. They're all part of the.
Yeah, they're all part of this collective, I would say. The one thing that struck me was when you saw like the gallery of the actual, the royals with Prince William and Kate, and then the kiddos, all the ones that kept making faces and stuff. But when you really like scrutinize, they were so close. They appeared so close to the rows behind them. Like people were breathing on their necks. Some woman fell asleep on Prince Charles's shoulder. Guys, I don't think that normal people or large amounts of any people, if they were really royals, I don't think that they would ever get close to these
Fall asleep on
individuals.
them.
Yeah, and what it really appeared to me was that there was like one row of like the row where the royals were sitting. That really appeared to be a green screen. That appeared like everything behind them looked like a projection. I do not believe that there was an actual, crowd sitting behind any actual royals. I mean, this is a deeper thing because we don't really believe there's any actual royals.
Yeah.
But, what struck me was the layeredness of the footage. It seemed like everything was happening on its own layer. The background was its own layer. The middle kind of crowd was its own layer. The foreground being the royals, in the balcony or whatever on their little promenade. That was a layer.
I got that same feeling, and it was looking at the crowd, right? So say I was trying to picture, like, say I went there, yeah, it might be a little bit busy, but is it as busy as it looks on TV? We can't even see a gap. It was just heads and flags, spinning flags everywhere. And I was thinking, like, there's no way there's that many people crammed there for that. Surely not. Like, surely not.
Reminds me of the U.S. inaugurations and stuff when everyone's lying about how many people, like, Trump got in trouble.
And the protests and stuff. I got that feeling like them protests where it's showing thousands and thousands of people. But something else, I actually recorded it and watched a part of it before it was like getting too boring for me. It was a documentary on the Queen. It was on Thursday night. And it was about like her whole life as a child. And it was like done in photographs. It was just showing a photograph. But it was it was like the wording of like the commentary of the program, like the people who were interviewing, and it was like, I love these kind of photos of her because they make her seem so real. Like that was what they were saying. And the Queen actually also said, in the document, the Queen's voice was saying it shows she's real. It shows I'm real. That's what she said. It shows I'm real, like by putting this footage out, like these photographs out of my life. It shows that I'm just like everybody else. And it's the wording of it. And people was complaining that they'd put music over. This is one of they'd put music over the photographs as it was showing. It was like kind of like horror music. And people were saying it was too loud. It was like really creepy music, I thought. And I just listened to a couple of. It's always in the wording, isn't it? Like, so
reinforcing
she looked so real. As soon as he heard that, I was like, they're telling us.
They're telling us. This reminds me of Hamlet. There's a famous line in the play, the Shakespearean play, Hamlet, and it says, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." And that you say anytime someone is like really, really trying to convince you of something, or like, I'm real, there's a sentiment that they're lying, that you don't need to convince anybody of
that they're real. Truth,
you don't. That's one that you really shouldn't need to keep reinforcing is, look at all these images, makes me seem real, or proves that I'm real. Like,
but I was seeing it as like programming of someone who doesn't know or doesn't suspect that they're not real. It's kind of cementing that they are real without realizing.
Or they think they're just playing on real as in like normal folk, she's
real as in normal. Yeah,
she lives a normal life. She was a young lady and now she's an old lady that she's been the same old lady for about 15 years. But when I saw those images that through the life of Elizabeth, every single image looked a little hinky, if you know what I mean. It looked a little hologrammy, projectiony. It looked like she was like painted in with light. It looked
that was
odd.
The most mind-blowing part for me. The hologram.
The actual hologram. Oh my God.
Honestly, blow my mind. When I seen that, I was like, what the, do you know what I mean? Like, have they been listening?
Yeah.
Listen to us.
Realize Radio.
Because what are the chances they're pulling out a hologram? I'm claiming people was waving to it and stuff like that, in the crowd.
That's the biggest thing. All these commenters, these news commenters, these social commenters, all of them are going, everybody's waving at a hologram. This feels a little spooky. Why are people waving at the carriage like if the Queen's in it? This feels very strange.
Maybe that's what they always do.
Yes. This is no different than it's ever been. This is no different. They're just revealing it to us now. They're just letting us in.
And we used a black and white version and stuff, didn't they? Like, they used it. Like, did they change it through time in the hologram or something? I'm not really sure, but I seen the hologram and it was like, oh my God, it's black and white, and it really brings it out, and people are waving to it. That was like you said, people are waving to it, but I don't. Was they?
Well, what I think is, when I was looking at like the actual deployment of it, it wasn't that great of a hologram. Like it wasn't super duper duper lifelike, but they only give us the kid version to look at, really. Like they
Yeah,
give us
so
the one that we can play with in the sandbox. They don't really
the
ever
double
show
bluff.
us. It's the double bluff. And speaking of double bluff, that's Lez's. Oh my God, here he is. Okay, that's Lez's favorite. Here comes Les. I was gonna say he hasn't joined us yet, but I just saw he was waiting in the waiting room. Here he is. Speaking of the double bluff, that's actually one of Lez's favorite phrases is the double bluff. Hey Les, we were just getting rolling and talking about, we just got to the Queen's hologram and how it wasn't all that great of a hologram either. Like it just wasn't even that spectacular of an exploration of that technology. But Rambo said, this is the double bluff. This goes deep. Okay, welcome, Les. We're so glad to have you join us.
Right, Les.
Rambo, how's it going, man? HV, how's it going?
Good, man.
We are
Good to
great.
catch up with you both.
Yes, we are great. Rambo was just telling me his experience. He was, started on Thursday. He was going around looking high and low for these street parties and kind of felt like an actual ghost town.
Everywhere was just quiet around Manchester and stuff. Like the bars and stuff seemed really quiet. And I expect them to just be busy because it's bank holiday.
But Les, you were closer to the action, right? Did you actually go to the action, or where were you positioned when you were watching all this unfold, Les?
I didn't go to London. I was debating it, but no, I worked on the weekend and Thursday and Friday. Yeah, same as Rambo. I was out and about and it did seem quite quiet. There was a few people out, but not what you'd think. Like you'd think there'd be a lot more going on. Mm-hmm. So it's quite strange that. But I reckon the middle class people of London would have probably had some street parties and that, but that's about it, I think. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Well, okay. So we're just kind of getting into the projection through social media. Like that's how I watched it. I watched all the stuff just through, what Twitter was feeding and, Daily Mail and just, I didn't watch anything on actual TV. I was just kind of like seeing what got filtered through and then finally, sent out to the masses through these social channels. Everything looked, I was talking to Rambo, it felt layered. Everything all the video footage that I saw of the actual royal family experiencing this Jubilee, everything seemed very layered. It seemed like they were on a plane, the royal family, anytime they show the royals, they were on their own plane, and then behind them was like a background that was on its own plane. It's like a composite where you take all of these elements, a composite image, you take all these elements, background, foreground, shadow, lightings, and you layer them all together, and when you look at it, it feels like a single complete whole image that was taken at one time, but it wasn't. It's layered in all the elements, and I just felt that. I felt that kind of like an uncanny valley vibe. I just felt like everything was composited and layered in when I saw the royals. Well, tell me what was your impression of, I know you're working, but what was kind of filtering out to you and what did you see? What was your overall take of the footage that we were seeing?
When I saw the Queen standing up there in green, I just automatically thought of the Wizard of Oz. And, the film, the projected head on the, you know what I mean, right? It just
couldn't have been more green screen green. That's that shade.
That's crazy,
that specific shade. There is no other.
Was that her only public appearance of the whole Jubilee? So the final day, I seen something like the Queen makes final day appearance. I'm sure.
Day one, right? She did something on day one, and then she pulled out of the Thanksgiving procedure, and then she showed up again on the final ceremony with the green outfit. But she was kind of in and out, right?
This green outfit, though, it isn't the first time she's done that in public. And I've done a post on it about a year ago on Twitter, and it was exactly the same kind of outfit. It's on me page somewhere. I'll try and find it. And
so in theory, that outfit, you could just click any pattern you want on that outfit.
Yep.
Reminds me of the green dresses, right?
Reminds me of that green binder, red binder. Remember when Sky News posted video of was it the MP? I can't remember, but it was that Indian gentleman, I think, or Pakistani gentleman. He was holding that binder. It was a green binder in his hand. And on screen, you could see that the binder changed from green screen green, just like a regular old green binder. It changed to this red, beautifully bound red binder with gold emblem on it, like very official looking. And you could see right there that it was, they were just tracking that green binder and overlaying it in real time with a graphic. And because you can't, it's called keying, and green screen allows you to key. You can basically remove that color and overlay it with whatever pattern or color or texture or whatever you'd like. And I think it's a revelation of the method. The fact that she wore green screen green. It's such a specific shade.
And I've seen Leslie's post, and what was the black thing about? Like
that dot, that black dot.
Well, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know, but it means something.
It immediately reminded me of the find the black dot illusion.
Yeah.
So there's an illusion that when you line up perpendicular and parallel lines, basically making a cross pattern with white lines, in the center of those white lines, you will begin to imagine, if there's a black background and white lines on top, you will begin to imagine in the center of those converging lines, you will see a little black dot on every one. And you move your eyes around, it just moves around.
Everywhere, isn't it? You know?
And there is no black dot. It's not there. It's an optical illusion. There is no black dot. But your mind, because of this illusion, the illusion's literally called Find the Black Dot. So if you want to look at what I'm saying, just Google Find the Black Dot illusion. I think that's what it was. It was literally like telling us that she was wearing the black dot. Find the black dot. It's an illusion.
When you look at like old school CGI, what they showed you in like films and stuff, the guy wearing the green suit would have like black dots marked out on certain points of their body, like on joints and stuff, because it helped in some way. So I'm thinking
tracking.
Maybe that has something to do with it. But also like
it didn't match. It was weird. We'll just say that. For a fashion sartorial choice, I've never seen anybody make that choice. A smudgy black dot in the middle of their green hat. Like there was no other black. It just didn't make sense. It was anomalous. It was, anyway.
It was almost like a camera looking at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another bit. What did you think of?
The camera's looking at us, looking at her.
Oh, you're breaking up just a bit, Les. I heard a camera looking at us, looking at her. But yeah, I agree. Oh, that kind of goes into our conversation about, not to bring it to psychedelics, but, you know, when we were having the conversation about psychedelics, you can actually witness yourself viewing yourself. Like it's the camera viewing us, viewing her kind of reminds me of our consciousness, collective consciousness.
What did you think of the Paddington Bear scene? I think that was the pretty much showing you. Do you know what I mean?
It's two digital characters sitting next to each other. It's so in your face now. This is disclosure. People thought disclosure was going to be aliens and stuff. It's not. It's this. It's them finally showing like what's going on.
How it's done. The revelation of the method has never been more blunt. It's not subtle at all. The subtlety, if it ever was, which I don't really think it ever was when we look back at history, we're like, wow, that's clear. It's clearly false. But it's gone. It's out the window. It's just blunt weaponry now. I think the people that are going to wake up with this have and will. And then maybe there's some that never will.
Do you know what shows this? I watched it on TV, this Paddington thing. So then he YouTubed it and watched it again and read the comments. And everyone in the comments is like, how do we know that's not?
Yes.
It's like people was getting onto it, you know, as well.
Well,
and
what
then
struck me,
comparing it to this hologram.
Yeah. There are multiple methods. They're showing us all the different ways that it happens, that it goes down. My take when I saw the Paddington Bear was not just that the bear was CGI and potentially the queen being CGI, but everything in the scene. The room, that beautiful red room, like the butler, all of it. Everything. I was like, oh wow. Even the reflections on like the butler or servant who was starting out at the very beginning of the video, like he walks around this really shiny surface and there's like this spectral light that pops out his reflections in the spectral surface. But like that it's like that's advanced 3D CGI. Like you can cast shadows and cast reflections and do all of these seemingly real things in a CGI environment. And that's what kept pinging. I was like, yeah, that's his reflection and this is really well done, but this is just CGI. The whole room, every seeming participant in that, the queen, the butler, the furnishings, the room itself, every detail of that video, I believe, was CGI. And we're just only taught and told or allowed theoretically to think that the bear is CGI, but when in reality, it's the whole dang thing. The queen, everything.
Just want to check something a minute. How much of the film Paddington Bear was CGI? How much are they going to? Probably says 100%.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting because the scenes itself. I actually haven't watched that. So that's like a live animation movie where there's footage, like live action footage, and then the bears intermixed with it. I actually haven't seen the Paddington Bear movie, but I don't know. So yeah, guys, the CGI, the holography, and okay, so a little background on holograms. Holograms are really interesting because it's light sculptures. Holography in this application is laser-based. Laser-based holograms where they use a point of light, single point of light, mixed with many points of light. But from the single diode of red, green, and blue, that's all it requires. That's the origin of any hologram is just a triode of red, green, and blue light. You cast that. You tune which how much red, how much green, how much blue, but every single color, every single shade that we recognize as real colors and real shades can be projected from those three colors, red, green, and blue. And those, you need to just, I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, so it's lasers. Holograms are laser projections using it's just three colors, and from that, anything. In hyper-real, I encourage everyone to look up hyper-realistic holography. And there's whales that are jumping through auditoriums, and these things that they give depth. They give even the perception of shadow, and it's so interesting. And then as far as what reality seems to be, holograms can appear as realistic as we would assume anything in our life to be. They can actually appear to be.
But they want us to think they appear a bit.
Right, they want us to think it's wonky. Right, that's what me and Rambo were talking about. The what we saw in the carriage, that 260-year-old golden carriage, or whatever it was. They kept making a big point about the carriage, and I need to look into the 260 number. But anyway, what we saw was child's play, and what actually exists.
The whole thing to me just felt like one big magic spell. That's what I kind of got the feeling for, like it's a 4-day magic spell, That's and I think now, like I know we've talked about the death of the Queen, but it's coming now. It's got to be.
Oh yeah, this was her goodbye.
Farewell.
This was her final, exit stage left. Your final bow to the crowd, and yeah, man. I think today, whether they announce it or not, today is the end of her.
Yeah.
Whether it's public or not, today's the end of her, and I think we're going to start seeing big changes in our reality, man, because she represented a lot. She was the symbol of what was going on, and yeah, man, it's going to be big. It's going to be interesting times now. This is a significant point.
And today being 6/6.
6 day.
Yeah. So you've been really looking into that element, Les, of the number element of it. What first kind of like made you? I know there's other dates and things. Give me a deep dive on the 666 importance as a date for these kind of important traumatic events or whatever, these transitional.
I just kept thinking to myself, 6th of June, why does that sound familiar? And then, of course, that's the D-Day landings of World War II.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big event in World War II, right? This is when the Allies landed in France. It's kind of the end of the beginning of the end of the war.
Yep. Where
the Allies started to win, right? D-Day. Then I remember looking into like what they do with the Queen's death, and the day she dies is called D-Day. And straight away off the bat, the fact that the day after her Jubilee is the 6th of June, D-Day, 6th of the 6th. And then also, it's 666. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And in English history, 6-6 is a big thing. Well, like we won the World Cup in the 66. King Harold died in 66 and a Norman invasion. For some reason, 6-6 is a big number in English history. So yeah, there's so many dots there to connect.
The date that stood out for me was the 9th of the 6th, and that's because it's her age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got that coming up right now as a few days. That's like kind of the date I've had in mind, the 9th of the 6th. Like 96. If it was, I mean,
Why I still put 9 and a 6 kind of
the same.
Yeah.
Same. That's what I
inversion.
do.
It's just an inversion
Yeah.
of that number. It's a flip of it, right? So
And we got Philip dying at 99, dying at 96. Same
Robert
thing.
Kennedy also this day last year, in 68.
Yes, that's right. RFK. He was shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles.
He's an American king, right?
Yes, he
Kennedy
was an American king. Robert
king.
F. Kennedy, the younger brother of JFK. Yeah, he was assassinated in Los Angeles in 1968. That was a few years after 11/22/63. So yeah, that's when Kennedy died, and so his brother died a few years later. That's a whole other rabbit hole. The photographer who would just happened to be in the kitchen, in like the working kitchen of the Ambassador Hotel. And you know how celebrities like leave through the kitchen? They always leave through the back. So Robert F. Kennedy was being shuttled through, quote unquote, through the back of the hotel. And there was this photographer who just happened to be there, right place, right time. And he got the last image. He got the death photo of Robert F. Kennedy being shot, being assassinated. And that same photographer just happened to be in the right place at the right time many years later on September 11th. And he took the photo of Falling Man. The same photographer who shot Robert F. Kennedy took the Falling Man photo. That infamous, probably the most infamous, other than the lady who was covered in dust lady, that black lady that had like the yellow anyway, she was totally covered in dust, and she looked like one of those Mount Vesuvius or whatever, the Pompeii ash victims. But anyway, just timing these characters, the right place, right time. It seems so crazy that the same person would be there to take both photos. But that's only if you believe that this is like legitimate. When you realize it's all staged and pre-designed and pre-constructed, it makes perfect sense that the same person just happened to be in the kitchen on that fateful day, just happened to be at ground zero on that fateful day. I don't know. Any hoot, I'm getting a little all
You'll have to
cattywampus there.
You've done a tweet about him, right? I'll have to check it out, like his name, run it through numerology and stuff. Like his name's probably 33 as well, that photographer. And
I believe his name's Richard Drew. Yeah, I reposted that today. What was his
I'm not going to
name?
check now because it will mess
Richard
up
Drew.
my signal with this conversation. But yeah,
Richard Drew. But yeah, we'll look into that. So strange. Yeah, he just happened to be there. Right place, right time. I think that what we saw, again, it's like all of the things that we've talked about, all of the little things that the types of technology, like we've talked about the Queen for as long as we've been recording on Realize Our Radio. We've been talking about the character of the Queen and the monarchy itself and how they would accomplish this, all the different methods, and I think we saw it. I think we saw like a smorgasbord or a cornucopia of the trickery. We just saw it all. They threw it all at us for the Jubilee.
I think we had no choice. You had to take part. I feel like you had to acknowledge it somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any other
We
takeaways?
had
Les? Yeah.
around here, we had purple Union Jacks everywhere.
Oh, everywhere. Have they ever
Every
changed the color of the Union Jack before? Like, do they do that? Do they turn it in green or turn it
Not that I
orange
know
or-
of.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
I've never seen the Union Jack represented casually as another color ever.
Well, on that concert that they had, the kind of projected a purple light onto the whole palace, didn't they? You know, and obviously
Magenta.
it's the color
Specifically
of royalty.
magenta. It was hot pink. It was, yeah. I saw that like the last frame, like it ends with the whole dang palace being emblazoned in this magenta color. And what's so interesting too is, you know, I love to talk about the line of purples, but for every shade along the line of purples, ranging from like the bluish purple to magenta in the center down to the reddish purples, every shade along that line, there's a corresponding shade of green, going from blue green to yellow green. And in the middle, in the very center, is green screen green. So magenta and green screen green are coupled in this. And I think that's, yeah, so we had magenta all over the front of the palace. Basically, the whole palace was magenta. And then we had the Queen's final outfit being that green screen green. I don't think this is a coincidence.
something that I thought when I was watching the green screen woman there, was there someone there? Was it Elsie Slack?
The green screen woman. It could be.
Was it Elsie? So for someone in the crowd looking up there, like they could actually see someone, but on the screen we're seeing the Queen, and that's what the green was about.
You know, I don't think
No
anybody
one
was
close enough
actually
to
that
see
close.
it was her.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think anybody was really that close to see the balustrades. The
So
way that
say
they
he
have.
was in the crowd, you could see the green suit, but you couldn't see he's in it. But when we're watching on TV, we just see the Queen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what my thought. I'm just trying to find this post that I did, and it was about a year ago, and it's about this green outfit that she wears, and someone had put it where they can and shown how they can change her into like dolled outfits and different outfits all through the green outfit that she had on.
Oh, that was a Christmas thing that she had done. She wore a green dress for a Christmas video, and then I remember everybody kept changing her
Outfit. So I've got it where it's like a collage of all the outfits that they changed them into. That's what I'm just looking for.
You gotta find that.
You gotta find
that. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you a quick story. My uncle was at a construction college doing his, apprenticeship, and the Queen came to visit.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't enough students on the bricklaying course, right?
Of course,
so
bricklaying, masonry. I'm kidding.
So he was a carpenter, so he had to pretend to be. Him and his mates were asked to pretend to be bricklayers while they were shaking the Queen's hand. And I'm thinking to myself, don't you see what's going on here? You are being asked to play someone else. While the Queen, when you're so worried about pretending to be the bricklayer, you don't realize that you were shaking Ella Slack's hand.
Oh my God.
Because you were so stressed.
Again, a double bluff?
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got involved in a double bluff, and you were so busy worried about that, you never thought, hang on, was that Ella Slack or the Queen?
Uh-huh.
Who the hell was that? Because you don't know, because you're probably so like caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Sweat dripping off your forehead, like, don't
I hope
mess
the
this
Queen
up.
doesn't realize I'm really a carpentry student and not a bricklaying student.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh my God. But yeah, you're right. That's a really clever trick to preoccupy the mind of the person being duped.
You've got imposter syndrome while you're meeting an imposter. It's genius. It's genius.
Let's just take a moment to like golf clap just at the layers of this deception. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I think they use every tool available. Cognitive, illusion. And that's why I think that black dot essentially was like a nod to a form of optical illusion. Because this whole damn thing is illusion, psychological illusions with, even what you just said, that's a psychological illusion where you fixate someone's perception or their thoughts on a singular node, and then they're unable to really focus on any other points of information. So they're not going to think, "Am I meeting the Queen?" Because they're so busy thinking, about themselves. So this whole monarchy, this whole charade, whatever, it's a compilation of different types of illusions. The way that we can trick the human brain. The human brain is extraordinarily fallible. We don't realize all the things that our brain's doing in the background. We have no clue, no consent to it, and no clue it's happening. But that doesn't make it off the table, that the people use that against us because we're just unaware of the things that our brains do. Oh, the tangled webs we weave. The Queen.
Can't find this, but I'm going to find it and I'm going to post it to you.
Oh, Rambo, you are searching high and low over there.
I know I've got it. It was actually a really good example, and the thing is, it's like a few years old as well. Do you know?
I know.
Like
yeah, probably
the first
2020.
time they've done this.
But yeah, again, that could be we could be falling into another trap, because I don't believe they need a green screen to do any of that anyway, right?
Right.
Like I've got my new iPad out, right, and it gave me the option to add a background to me,
right,
with no green screen. Like, so, yeah, again, I could be falling into a trap here, going, look, she's wearing a green, when really it's like that's a whole nother layer of deception in itself.
Right. Yeah.
Because they always plan in getting us conspiracy theories going down the wrong road as well.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
they're
know.
prepared for us as well, aren't they? Really?
Oh yeah.
You know, they knew we were going to say something about the Queen being a hologram, so they went ahead and gave us a hologram. They knew we were going to say something about the green screen element, so they went ahead and gave us a green screen color. It's almost like they're drowning out the noise. You know, they're drowning out any possibility of truth revelation for the masses. Because if someone were to do a whole little thing on the Queen potentially being them using holography as part of keeping up with, the royal family, well, they're going to go ahead and drown that out by just making the narrative about a hologram. Like, let's just go ahead and, that way if anybody looks into hologram Queen, we'll have endless amounts of stories about it, but it won't be what they're really looking for. I don't know. It's kind of like flooding the narrative with, I think I have seen this before when I'm on to something and I have like keywords that I'm looking for, I'll find that those keywords have been like now there's like a news story that takes all those keywords and puts them all together, and then that drowns out what I'm actually looking for. But what's presented is not at all what I'm looking for. They just happen to commandeer all of those phrases and all of those words so that what I'm looking for, it gets lost.
What do you think that is? Like, what do you think that is on a?
Well, it makes me think about what the internet really is. This is a bigger question. I still think that it's akin to what you had said, Les, the jinn within, like the genie. There is some sort of unexplained element about the internet, about how these results are propagated, about how the web is created. I think it's happening in real time. I think that there's a version of the internet or a portion of the internet that we the people have like legitimately put up our little web pages and done our little things here and done things here, and we're active participants in it, and we think that that's how it works. But behind that and around that and through that, I think is this unknown force element that is giving us in real time the content that it's like a mirror in a sense. It's like we're projecting onto it, and it's going to project back to us. So I think we're creating the internet in real time, and we're propagating the internet in real time. And seek, and you will find, I think, that sometimes things maybe don't exist until you start seeking them, and then they will magically exist somehow on the internet. I don't know how to describe it, but I think that there is some sort of magical element about the World Wide Web. And I think that the World Wide Web is close to our consciousness, is basically our collective consciousness personified or materialized in a way.
I tie it into kind of what Rambo says about actually we're the Freemasons. We're the ones building this reality. We're the architects. We're the ones building this. And whatever that internet is, whatever it's behind, it's learning off us. Yeah, what you said, it's kind of we're teaching it. It's reflecting it back to us. Mm-hmm. And it's building the false reality of us, what we're feeding it.
Yeah. Yep. It's a weird loop. It's a weird feedback loop. And I think society has the control mechanism for the most part of that feedback loop. Like they serve it to us, and then we digest it and then feed it back. And like the loop kind of happens from them. And then at a certain point, when you become cognizant and become aware of your power, I think then we can become the generators of that loop. Like when we stop projecting what they give us, we're not feeding them back the loop stuff. Like I don't even think we have the language to really describe this. But yeah, it's like
kind of
at a certain point we're just like
into words. What we said there, like the Freemason thing. Like if you look, it's like they say, like the 33rd degree is like a mysterious kind of position, in it. No one knows who they are, and stuff like this is even for real. That's because it's all of us. Do you know?
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The mysterious 33rd degree. Because like the highest you can get theoretically is 32, but there's the whole 33rd. You're right. I think that we are the 33rd degree Masons, and we've got the 33rd vertebrae on our entire spinal column, and that's what powers our entire system is our spinal column with those 33 vertebrae.
Because they say if you play of the universe will play back, and that's true.
I believe
but
it.
The internet is usurped that and jumped in there, and instead of us playing with the universe, some of us are caught up in playing with the internet, which is the digital gin, which can be leading us down the wrong way, if you know what I mean. Like, so as good as the internet is, there's definitely something
I'm so glad you brought
Control.
this
Good
up.
to
Controlling
connect
about
with people in it, but then it's what
Yeah,
you're
but
connecting
dead
about.
internet, Rambo, innit? How many?
Yeah,
How many
that's
people
kind of killed my conspiracy thoughts, to be honest with you, that dead internet, because I see it, I witness it all the time now,
Yeah.
of the same things just being recycled over and over again. It's
Yeah.
kind of,
There's very little originality. I think that we're kind of trailblazers in that arena. We're putting stuff out there that's never existed before. Even the way
now it exists everywhere.
But
just
now
from
it exists everywhere.
different
Like, yeah, we
accounts,
see it. We see it
shuffled up a
replicated.
bit, you know.
Although you can always tell a copy. You know, you can always, I see my work and my words out there all the time, but nobody can quite get it the way that I do. Like, there's a spirit. I think that when we put something out there that could only come from us, it resonates, and it resonates with others because it's genuine and it's real. But then when that gets copied, kind of like a facsimile, like you can never get, if you do a copy of an original, the copy is never as good. And then if you do a copy of a copy, it continues to degrade. I think that there is something when someone steals work or when someone replicates work or when whatever, I think that there's like a degradation happening. And it's never as quite as
Kind of
transmissible
dilutes
and
it
strong.
into-
Yeah, like a dilution. I don't know. I mean, I'm tickled pink that our work is out there. Les, I see people copying your stuff all the time. I see people copying Rambo. I see
People pretended they was Les going to Ukraine. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
There's
my
people out there
God.
that actually
Yeah.
pretended they was you, Les. Do you know?
Yeah.
And putting your stuff out like they was you. Do you know?
I know, yeah.
We can get real butthurt about that stuff. You know, people are copying us or pretending to be us or whatever. You know, there's a sting there. I feel it. There's a sting. But then you realize, I mean, nobody goes to the effort of copying or pretending to be impersonating. Nobody goes to this effort unless what you're doing is impactful and resonating. So much so that someone's like, ooh, I wish I thought of that. Let me do that, you know? And in a way, they say flattery or imitation is the best form of flattery, is the finest form of flattery. But I mean, there is something there. I'm proud when I hear my work, when I read my work, when I see my work. I used to send stuff to Rambo sometimes and be like, oh, look who stole my thing, or oh, whatever. But now I see my work in the wild and I love it. I love that it's out there. It doesn't have to, people don't need to know that it tracks back to me or to you or to us or to anything. People don't need to know that for it to still track back, for it to still, in totality, to still be a part of you, you know? Like, people don't necessarily need to know it. I'm just glad that the information's getting out there. And the only time I really get upset is when people twist it, you know, when people take what we've done and then they give it a different meaning or
and that happens a lot, but
insert
then you
their
have to
own-
question, are they even real people? Do you know,
Back to
what
dead
I've
internet, yeah.
noticed now, all of it just seemed like everyone on Twitter just seems like a quote bot. Like,
Yeah.
those like inspirational quote bots, like that's all I see on there now. Do you know, when I'm like scrolling through Instagram and Twitter, it just feels like it's the same old.
I do see that a lot. You know, I took a step back from Twitter recently. Over the past, I would say 2 or 3 months, I've done so much more on Instagram, so much more sharing on Instagram than I have on Twitter. But something about the Jubilee, something about Lez's stuff, he got me kind of fired back up about Twitter again. So I was posting a little bit more over the weekend. And
I'm fired back up for after, like you say, after what Les just said, after today. I just feel like it might pick up. Something's going to pick up now, because I feel like, personally, I've been getting bored of it, of, like you say, then the same stuff going around. But I feel like we're about to go into a new era of Twitter, new era of everything.
a new era of everything. That's what I feel. I feel like we are entering a new phase of this journey.
It's becoming more obvious, isn't it, Joe, with this. Now, like you say, if you're looking at it from how we've been looking at it, this Queen stuff is like they're putting it out there now. Look at this. Look how fake it all is. Do you know?
Didn't Tom Cruise make some sort of appearance at the Jubilee, or wasn't there some sort of like Top Gun Queen thing? And they were saying,
Yeah, that was. I think that was you.
overshadowed. That was a couple weeks ago in preparation, or maybe last week or something. Yeah, but I remember, you know, and that's another. We're getting revelation of the method is occurring more frequently and more obviously for those who can see, because again, there's an entire portion of the population that watched everything we watched, and they don't have any of the takeaways we do, and I don't think they're even really capable of coming to those takeaways, but they're seeing the same thing. This goes back to Westworld. We see what our minds will allow us to see, what our minds are ready to see. And we will not see what our minds are not ready to see. It just...
Yeah, like some of them start to realize it's all fake, don't they?
They ain't ready.
All the game.
They ain't ready. I mean, we're all ready. We know. we've been yelling this from the rooftops for ages now. It's been over two and a half years that we've been.
That's what I mean. So I was quite happy to see the hologram side of it. Like I was happy to see that. I felt like it was like,
I almost lost my.
We've been onto it for ages.
I did like a face plant, like my hand went to my forehead and I was like, oh my God. I can't remember who sent me, but was it you, Rambo? Someone sent me the first thing of the holograph and I
think I
couldn't believe it.
But it was like I say, like Leslie's got me looking into that green stuff. I just watched the show and I thought on the TV, I thought, what a load of crap this is again. And then I started watching Leslie's post. It started getting me like,
Good
into
job,
it
Les.
again.
You fired us back up. Yeah, thank
so
you, Les.
Got me motivated to start looking at stuff. There's a lot of it.
Sorry, guys, I brought you back to the dying corpse of Twitter. You nearly escaped, and I dragged you back. Yeah. No, I've noticed you two. You two have been quite distant from Twitter, and it's become very boring, man. There's nothing going on there really. So this has brought some life back to Twitter. But I think it's good that it's slowly starting to leave Twitter. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because at some point we have to kind of do that, I think. Whether it's now or in 10 years' time, the way you get out, the way you kind of break free is you have to kind of, I don't know, limit your phone time or whatever, So
we were talking about the internet just a minute ago. Do you guys foresee in the future, do you guys foresee that the internet will go away? Do you guys ever imagine that as part of the future?
No, but I think it's just going to get smaller and smaller, as in like places to visit. Like,
things will die off.
So things will die off.
Things that aren't real will die. They'll wither on the mind.
Something that I noticed, and it goes, this dead internet theory is probably the one that has hit me the most over all the time. Like now, like on Twitter, I don't post. Yeah. And my followers go up and up and up. And on Instagram, they go down and down and down. And it's like kind of, I feel like it's trying to, like on Instagram, it's kind of trying to get me on there, like keep me going on there. Oh no, I'm losing followers. Oh no. And then like what was weird, it was like a really weird one that the other day I got someone like posted one of my old things out and again like 500 followers on Instagram. And I've not posted on there I post on my stories now and again, but I feel like it's like to get you back in. And when they notice that, he's been taking away his followers 100 a time and he don't care, let's give him 500 and get him motivated again.
They want our energy. They want our focused.
As long as you're on that app, screen time. That's all they want.
It's in my opinion, it's all fake as shit. Them numbers are. I reckon really, if I'm being honest, I've got about 100. I don't like the word followers, appreciators who like my work, if I'm being honest. The fact that they've given me 22.2.
Right.
After I'm the guy that said that, they're fucking with me. They're
fucking with you. They are.
That is very weird that it was.
And it always stays there. It never kind of disappears. It's not going up. It's not going down. It's almost like here's your, it's like a payment, isn't it? It's like a payment system. Mm-hmm. Instead of money, they're giving you followers to try and boost your kind of whatever they think we like, because it means nothing really. But yeah, man, it's I don't know, it's fuckery. Definitely.
That's what I really love about Patreon. It would be a really convoluted, very strange application if there were bots that were like signing up to Patreon as well and like participating in Patreon. I don't know how they would do that and like pay and everything. That would be very strange. But I know in my bones, like every single person that signs up for Patreon, they're a real person. Yeah. They really appreciate this. That kind of separates. I talking about like energy and stuff. Yeah, I do. I'm on Twitter here and there. I'm on Instagram a little bit more, but the majority of my thoughts, these types of thoughts, I mean, I put them on Patreon.
That's it. I enjoy like actually talking about it rather than just posting and arguing with a bot. awesome or having like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I've got to, because I've had that many, because I know like we don't mean to argue with bots, but I've done
sometimes
it.
we can get caught up in it. Yeah, I know. I just feel like
But
this
I
is
do
the
enjoy
best.
this talking part of it, and
Yeah, the best place to. I mean, I like you, Rainbow. I like talking about. Obviously, I love to talk. I don't let anybody else talk. I have a problem with that. I could do with talking less, but I do love to talk, and I think that this is where we work out all of our ideas mostly. And so to know that the audience of this initial effort, like the core effort, which is here, to know that the audience is genuine, real, and appreciative. That's like the trifecta. You know, that's like. It's not, nobody's here because they're casual. Nobody's here because they're like, I guess I like those guys. People are here because they really think that we're bringing value to the table, which we are. You know, I believe this is our most valuable, I've said this before and I'll say this again, but the most valuable resource on the planet is focused human energy and attention. It's focused human attention. It's our attention. That's why we pay attention. And this is my new thing, I'm gonna be talking about this a lot because I really think that this goes to everything. But the fact that I love that this is my resource, this is my repository now, versus Twitter, where I used to put all of my ideas on Twitter only, you know, everything would just go on Twitter. And who knows what the audience at Twitter is? I could have, like you said, maybe 100 appreciators out there. And then the rest of those thousands and thousands and thousands are just ghosts on the dead internet, you know, and that feels hollow. It feels hollow. Whereas, I don't know, just a little appreciation for everyone out there listening. There's something very special about this platform. And I hope it continues. And I talked about the web maybe going away, but save Patreon, please. But I don't know. There's something.
I don't think it'll go away, but we were talking about this the other day. I think that we need a blackout, like an internet blackout. I feel like that'll be a good thing. As
like a global
people
reset.
Appreciate everything's just done on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like I was having this conversation the other day, and it was like it wouldn't be a bad thing if they was like cut all the internet off for like a week or something. So, do you know what I mean?
Gosh,
like,
what do you think it would do to everybody's brain, just if they were able to decouple from the internet for a week?
Maybe reset them.
Yeah.
I recommend to people who've got families, kids especially, that you maybe once a month have like a blackout party.
Yeah.
Where you enjoy it. You black yourself out for a weekend. You enjoy it. You live by candles. You cook by a gas fire, camping, all that stuff. So that way you're ready for it when it comes. And you're programming yourself to embrace it and not be bothered by it. So when it comes, like, yay, blackout party.
Yeah, it's kind of what we talk about. So like we're at a point in the world now where everyone's just greedy and selfish. That's what I was having this saying. And a big blackout would kind of make people appreciate things more.
Yeah.
Appreciate just
life. Well, that's what they said about 9/11, y'all. We got to be careful. Remember 9/11, quote unquote, brought everybody together. And, you know, and they're talking about like how to unite humanity is to bring the aliens in, you know? But yeah, an internet blackout could theoretically.
Do you think the aliens are still coming? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's still a trick up their sleeve. I think that they're still holding out, like it's still kind of like an ace card that one day they could always wheel out the aliens and we'll all react in a predictable way. But I don't think they're doing. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to introduce aliens in a major way, because I don't think anybody would believe it. You know, I think that we're beyond. I think they lost the ability to even use that card, to use that trick, because we
let them know that they can't really do that because so many people are expecting it, so like, can't really do that now. Let's get off the Queen.
Yeah, quick, let's project a hologram of the Queen. Yeah.
I think like when it comes to like the UFO, they've got that technology for sure. This kind of vehicle that you can just project your consciousness into and fly around and shoot laser beams out and blip in and out of reality. I think they've got that. They have to. There's no way we're stuck with all the money and investment in time in, you know, technology. There's no way we're still stuck at tanks and laptops, you know? Because I know there's kids on YouTube that are making like laser beams that can cut through bricks and stuff with household objects. So they've definitely got that kind of stuff. It's whether they bust them out or not. I know it's not aliens, it's us. Like, we can achieve that. Whether or not they come out one day, I don't know. I'm thinking with this whole World War III in the long term, probably by the time we're dead and gone, us guys, eventually they will whip out the UFO as a peacekeeping weapon. When they say, we've got to stop the Russians and whoever fighting, the UFOs are coming out, guys, we've got them. Because it's a lot like the metal warship. When they finally released the first metal warship, then suddenly everyone had a metal warship. It's only till that first one came out, they didn't really bother. Everyone was still using wooden ships and that, you know?
That reminds me, real quick, that reminds me of when the invention of the airplane itself, how that happened in 1910. And then just and it was such like a hokey, the Wright brothers plane was like that really cartoonish looking contraption, not fit for any sort of air travel whatsoever. And then just a hop, skip, and a jump, just a few years later, they had war-ready airplanes, like metal, complete, the technology advanced tenfold, 100-fold in just a few short years. And I think that just goes to show all this stuff is like already created.
Ready.
All of this stuff is already ready. They just need an origin story to introduce this technology to the public, and they have to have it look hokey and whatever so that we'll think that, just like starting out, it looks like one way, and then here we are, the advanced use of it, and it's military. And of course, the military that does anything, then it rolls out to civilian use and da-da-da-da. But yeah, they needed that original. Anyway, but yeah, I think that, like you said, tanks and laptops, we've got to be far out from that. But that reminds me too of the inflatable tanks, which you showed quite a bit, Les, on your wartime correspondence, was how even what we believe to be this heavy artillery, this heavy machinery, these weapons of war, they're for show. Many of them are for show.
Just for photos.
Why? Because why would the masses bother going to work, paying their mortgages, when they find out there's that they've had UFOs that can jump in and out of time? Why would they wouldn't bother, you know? Like, what's the fucking point now? Why would anyone sign up to the military when they know the enemy's got UFOs that can shoot laser beams? Like, no one would bother with anything anymore. Do you know what I mean? It'd be game over. So they have to be very careful for the masses when they bring this stuff out, because it's going to break the false reality of going to work, paying your mortgage.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah.
You know, it breaks everything down. People are going to be like, what's the fucking point now? Like, you can 3D print a meal. What's the point of us killing cows anymore? You know what I mean? It's going to be like big game changer.
Yeah, I think we're already we're knocking on that door, because Corona, when everybody went home, many people that had the traditional 9-to-5s, I mean, there was a huge subset of the population that decided or realized, not even decided, but realized in 2020, in the lockdowns, that their life's work was meaningless, that they by being given a chance to slow down and stay home and reevaluate their time, which is what we got to do in 2020. It was really the Great Reset. The time stood still for the first time ever, it seemed like, in my life. And it gave everybody kind of the opportunity to reevaluate where they were spending their energy, their time, their resources, everything. And so yeah, in myself included, many people made a leap in that given the right parameters to reset, reframe. Some people do. But yeah, there might be something that is so intense, like the alien, discovering aliens shooting laser beams, that makes everybody go like, what really is the point? Why do I need to go to this job? Like, why am I paying this mortgage? Why? Exactly like you said, Les, it's going to, there could be certain events, fabricated events or planned, whatever. Yeah, that totally reframe the way that we see our lives and our purpose and but they need us to be toiling, like the modern society is set up for human beings from birth, cradle till grave, to be toiling their time and toil. We go to school and we have school for 12 years. And then after that, you're immediately in maybe another school, you're immediately in a job. And then for the next 60 years, you're every single moment of every single day, you've got planned out, tracked out. And then if you have kids, that's multiplied and how your time is gobbled up. And then you're in charge of their schooling and and it just never ends.
I had this conversation with an old guy. He must have been about 68, 70. And he was talking like, he didn't know about me conspiracy stuff, but I said like money's fake. That's what got the conversation going.
Yeah.
And he said, there was a point, he said, do you know what? I was told you have kids as soon as you like leave school, you get a job, you work, you look after kids, pay your mortgage. And he said, now I'm like 68. And I feel like life was a rip-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look back, I feel like I've been ripped off with my time.
Yeah. I feel for the first time ever.
People might break out of that if, like you say, there's fucking dimension jumping UFOs.
We give our best. We give of ourselves to this place, and we don't even realize. We don't even realize we're giving our best years. We're giving all of our energy, all of our resources, everything. And then we have nothing to show for it sometimes. Yeah.
Let me throw another like wacky theory at you guys I'm playing with. What if the so-called, we're calling the Illuminati for now. Not that I believe in the Illuminati, but just because people know that word, roughly what we mean, yeah? The secret unknowns, we got them down as bad guys. What if they're actually good guys tasked with keeping the NPCs busy? Because if they didn't have all that garbage to worry about, who knows what they'd be fucking doing, man, because they're dangerous. If they weren't like given some meaningless things to do, they'd be dangerous. So they're keeping them guys busy with the false reality, allowing us guys, the good Freemasons that don't know they're Freemasons, to go off and do what we want to do and enjoy life and thoughts.
I think have different values of what's important.
Yeah.
Building on that, or just kind of thinking about what you said at the top of that, I do think that whoever is in ultimate control is benevolent and wants us to wake up, and the purpose and is rooting for us to wake up. I believe that. I believe that deeply. And all this seeming deception and all this seeming trauma and tragedy is like a theater of a hyper real, a theater of the absurd, so that maybe one day we will wake up. But like the double-edged sword, one side of the blade has a function, the other side of the blade almost does the opposite. And I think that for a big portion of the population, people are put to sleep by the illusion, but it also serves to wake others up, like us. Like, just the Queen's Jubilee is a perfect example. We see all of these lies, these deceptions unfolding in front of us and being revealed to us with all the different ways that they're projecting the Queen. And that serves to embolden our awakening and to further that process. But for others, it just keeps them further and further and further asleep, or deeper into sleep. I don't know, but the evil day, I don't believe there's an evil day. I believe there's a benevolent force that is ultimately wanting us to escape. It wants us to see the exit door and is illuminating it as bright as possible. I still haven't seen the exit door. Les, I'm always looking. I'm always looking for my exit.
Only see it on TV behind these exit. I can't miss it every time.
I know. It's always on TV on these
always an exit in the background. I just think of Les every time.
Every time.
Exit stage left every
exit
time.
Stage left.
Do you know what's weird? Like the job I do now, Rambo will know this. Like, well, I'm a bouncer, right? But the actual technical name is a doorman.
Yeah.
Or door supervisor.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that most of my work revolved around on Twitter about doorways and exit doors. And so, yeah, the doorman in many ways, like, I don't know, it's weird. But as Rambo, have you seen season 2?
I think it's interesting that you're a doorman, like a door.
Yeah.
What is that in Game of Thrones? Hodor? He was like
hold the door.
Anyway. Yeah, hold the door. Anyway, but yeah, the fact that you're a doorman, like a gatekeeper, a portal. Yeah, something to that. Sometimes our normie jobs actually are quite illuminating in our actual. I mean, there's a reason that I think that I work in graphics and video and 3D and all this stuff. I think that is I'm meant to. I'm meant to have this background. You know, I'm meant to have gone into this world of projection, of light projection, and learn about it. And so the one day I'll be here, you know. And I had to go through all that stuff and be in it, to be inside of it. And now, like you're gatekeeper's the wrong word, but you're a you actually are holding the door open to the portal for many people, like the way out. You're helping keep the exit door. You're opening it for the ones that want to walk through. And I think that, like, metaphorically, you're doing that with your work, that everything that you do, and then literally you're doing that in the actual job by opening the door for those who want to go through.
Opening the door.
Yeah. Is this just the synchronicities are just off the charts these days, isn't it?
And then Rambo's background in sign language.
Yeah, and then do you know what? When you watch videos and stuff, and you turn the volume down, you see how fake it is. Do you know what I mean? When you turn the volume down of something and watch, you see.
I never listen to video. I never listen to the audio.
The sound kind of distracts you from.
It does. The sounds distract you. Yeah. So I always have my audio off when I watch video. When people send me videos.
Something I got from that more than anything is like picking up on vibrations of people. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to say much, and people, they don't say anything, but you can sense what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I learned a lot from that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get that through the internet. Yeah. You don't even have to be in the same room as someone. You can just get a vibe from someone's avatar in the way that they interact. You really can. It's quite wild. It's quite wild how you can just get it's like a spidey sense. But the stronger that sense goes, the gut intuition and the sensations and the senses that we are born with, we can develop those and grow those skills like a muscle. You know, the more you trust and listen to your intuitive voice, the stronger it will become. The more you ignore it, the weaker it'll become. It's like a muscle. Any muscle atrophies or strengthens with use or unuse. And if you don't use your gut intuition by being, you know, like we were kind of strengthening our our ability to tell the vibes of people somehow on the internet. And I think that actually is translated into my real life. I have a much better, I'm much more attuned, I think, to people's vibe now, now that I've woken up myself and I'm aware of it. So it's interesting. Yeah. Something about, we're magical creatures. We really are. We're magical, mystical creatures. And we are just beginning to realize how powerful we truly are. We are the monarchy. We are the, you know, like we are the power. We are the Masons. We are the monarchs. We are the true power. Collectively, us as this collective body, we are. Yeah, we hold all the power. We be the many, they be the few. And I think that if we could just get to that tipping point, you know, I think that there's a tipping point of an awareness. It doesn't have to be everybody. I don't think that's a tall order. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But just like in mathematics, if you reach a certain X point, and it's not even, I think it's like in the 20%. Like I don't even think it's that much. But like a tipping ship or something. If you get to a certain point, the rest of the ship will tip, or the rest of the balance will tip. And it doesn't have to be 50% either. It doesn't even have to be that much. But there's something to that. I think that if enough people can begin to realize the fakery, the spell will be broken for all. Because I think the spell ultimately is powered. All of the illusion is like a magic show. And I think the spell is powered by our belief in the spell. And when enough people do not believe, then the spell breaks for all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, any other final thoughts on the Jube? We've been going for over an hour. This is a good little God Save the Queen episode. Any other final thoughts on the festivities this weekend, or what's ahead? Les, what about you?
It's one of the things that we could probably talk about this for weeks now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I do think whether they make it public or not, I think this is the end of her today.
Yeah.
Her energy has been shut down, I think. Whatever she is, I don't think she's a real person. Yeah, I think she's been shut down. So yeah, interesting times ahead. One last thing about the thing on her head, that could be the obsidian black mirror they talk about that the first queen had, that Queen Elizabeth I had, which apparently they were talking to angels, and that's what gave them the technology to create the British Empire and stuff. So
what? Okay.
What? Oh,
Tell me
sorry,
more
did I
about
just
this.
drop a-
What? Yes. Okay. Come on. Tell me more
Okay.
about this.
Have you heard of John D? You heard of John D?
D. A truther? Truther John? Like
No, he was like the astrologist for Queen Elizabeth.
No, I haven't.
Was it? Wait, let me judge. I'm sure it's Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, the Queen's mom, the Queen's grandma, the one
Okay.
that most people know. John D. He was like the magician, astrologist.
John D, advisor to the Queen Elizabeth, to Queen Elizabeth
yeah.
I. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a black mirror, a circular obsidian
Yeah.
piece of
Called
stone,
a spirit mirror. Yep.
yeah, and he was talking to angels with Enochian magic, and this was what gave him the technology that the Royal Navy used to basically dominate the oceans and start the British Empire.
It's literally a black mirror. It's a
Now, is
just
that
like the show Black Mirror?
Yeah, this is it. And was that it on her hat? You know,
It looks
I
like that. It looks exactly if you Google, they call it also
HV's got one in
scrying.
a. People can't see, but HV's got one behind her on the wall there.
Oh yeah.
I do. I sure do. Actually, it's a real mirror. It's a regular old mirror surrounded by blackness. So
Okay, yeah.
little. You know, sometimes I look around my apartment and I'm like, I've got these symbols and signs that I've just collected over time, and then they just all of a sudden they make so much sense one day, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Wait,
that's why I've been carrying this around forever.
It's just another synchronicity as we talk. Like I'm there describing this thing, and I'm looking behind your shoulder, and it's there. You know, it's just so. It's
It's my obsidian scrying mirror, of course, of course. I got it from John D.
And John D was the first ever 007. He used to sign all of his and his correspondence with 007.
What?
So he's the original 007.
Interesting. What does 007 mean? Like, what's the numer? I mean, looking at the numbers themselves, 007. Like, what is that? I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't know that there was any point of 007 before James Bond. I thought it 100% was a James Bond thing, like just fictional name for that. That's interesting. I had no idea. Gosh, Les, learn a new thing every day. I had no idea about Elizabeth I.
I'm going to look at this
mirror.
John D guy after this. No,
Oh, John D's a great one, man. Yeah, definitely go down that rabbit hole. He's a big part of where we are now. Like, he is a massive part of where we are now.
So I've typed in John D Queen, and then when you scroll down a little bit, the first thing was John D a real person? That was like the first question asked. It's like,
yeah. Well, this is part of it. Is he a real person? I mean, yeah. Did he exist at all? Was he a digital djinn? Was he the guy in the mirror? You know, everyone, this is a great topic to look into.
I'm going to be onto him today.
Yeah.
And it really does. The obsidian stone, like the scrying mirror, it's just a black circle. So I think that you are spot on.
Yeah,
Les.
that was what was on a hat.
We've got here. This is the fake. This is the fake false reality obsidian stone black mirror we got here. You see. Mm-hmm. So we're all messing around. I'm holding up my
our
smartphone,
iPhones. Yes, everybody has a black mirror of a scrying stone in their pocket. We all do. When you look back at that cold, black reflection.
But this has got us on the digital angels or jinn. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you had that one, that might be the more positive, nature-esque angels talking back to you, you know? Stuff that we don't even think about in our day-to-day lives. Like, where can we get one of these black obsidian mirrors, you know? Mm-hmm. No one's doing that.
Well, I'm currently shopping for one. I already have one behind me, but I'm looking for another one.
Be careful, everyone, if you do, because John D and his best friend Edward Kelly, they didn't end up too well. You know, they pretty much went mad.
That's true.
In their storyline,
we really do need to be more mindful. We need to be more mindful of the things that we allow into our possession. We've let the phone in our pocket take over our lives, and we didn't even think twice about it. You know, we really didn't. We did not think twice about letting this magic into our lives. And for some, it has completely transformed and taken over their life, and they can't do anything. I mean, I know how I feel when I think that I've lost my phone. I feel like a limb is missing from me, and I freak out as if I've lost my leg, you know? It's that, we all know that feeling, that kind of seizing in the heart and like, where's my phone? You know, we all know what that feels like. And we shouldn't have that level of attachment to an inanimate object. We really should not have that feeling of a cleaved limb from this hunk of metal and whatever, mirror, glass, and quartz and whatever's inside. We shouldn't
give yourself a blackout.
I know. Oh my gosh, we got to go on a blackout. But what about Patreon? No. But there is something to limiting your screen time. It can be very difficult to do, but it frees up so much else that we don't even realize we're missing out on. We don't even realize. And that goes to you guys, both of y'all made this point, but we're just throwing our lives away. At a certain time you look up and you're like, where'd the time go? Where'd the resources go? Where'd everything go? What do I have to show for it? And at every point along the way, we've consented. Like we've agreed to give our time and energy and focus and attention away, but we didn't even realize we allowed it, and then all of a sudden we don't have it anymore. You know, with my phone, I cannot remember anything anymore. I can't remember. I used to be really good with remembering phone numbers. Can't do that to save my life anymore. You know, there's all these little things that I've allowed my smart device to do for me that I am no longer capable of doing, and that is a negative side of technology that I don't think anybody really understands or anticipates. And there's something diminishing about giving our innate powers over to the machine.
Even experiences outside, people are mostly watching it through the screen anyway. Do you know, like
I encountered some Pokemon goers this weekend, yesterday. This lady came up to me and she was like, "Are you playing?" And I was like, I was playing a song at that moment. I was trying to listen to a song. And so I thought she was talking about the song that I was playing. And I was like, But then I realized she was talking about playing Pokemon Go. Like, no, I'm not playing that game. But there were 3 other people in the park that were, and I saw them all connect, and it's like, who's still playing Pokemon Go? But yeah, it's even taking our outdoor experiences and digitizing them. And so we're not even really, I don't know. There's some sort of phenomenon with the Pokemon Go situation, that digital overlay of unreality on our real world and interacting and playing within that. And
well, you hear stories of, you know, people fell off the cliff and stuff looking for
yes.
Pokemon, and people falling off the cliff taking selfies for Instagram, and that's just pretty sad, isn't it? If people are like dropping off cliffs for
when you lose your life to prove how good your life, you know, taking a selfie to show how mystical your life is, and you lose it in the process of that. That's it's not irony. It's something. It's something.
One. I'll do one last thing on that. The circle on her head.
Yeah.
In many of the like sci-fi films and stuff, whenever there was a hologram character, like Rambo, do you remember Red Dwarf?
Yeah.
Remember the hologram had the H on his head?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And that was it. That was what was projecting his 3D body. So if you press that, he would turn off, or you could just put it in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
So if the technology is around for the hologram to make a 3D projection of itself, maybe that's the center point, you know, where it can project some kind of material behind it that does manifest in front of you that you can probably touch and stuff.
It kind of looks like the center of our eyeball, our pupil, the black point at the center, at the very center that takes in all the light. Kind of reminds me of the pupil, yeah.
So there's also in the latest Blade Runner, his girlfriend's a hologram that's the same thing. It can project out of some little floating device and appear standing next to you and stuff. So there's definitely a sci-fi kind of thing there as well. But yeah, that's my final note on the Queen's black circle on her head, whatever the hell that was.
Black hole sun. Yeah. What about you, Rambo?
The black sun. Oh my God.
The black sun. Back to it.
And also her brooch was like a kind of like octopus mask.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting how it was on the center of her head as well. Do you know?
I know.
Yeah.
It was very strange looking. Very strange indeed. Well, This was a good one, y'all. I think there's going to be more on the Queen coming.
There is, because I'm
There's
going
gonna
to
be
dig on
something.
that
She's
today.
gonna-
This John Dee thing, I'd never heard of that, so definitely on that today. And I want to
Yes.
find this green screen thing that I posted and trying to look for it. I've been
Yes.
trying to look for it the
I
whole
know
time.
the whole time, this
It was
whole
really
recording, I've been
good.
seeing you look
It
over
was a
there.
really good
No, I remember
example
you
of
did.
how it
Yes.
works. You know, that's what, and I know I've got it somewhere, but
Yes. Send it to me when you find
maybe
it.
a
Send it
year
to me
ago,
when you find
2 years ago, I don't know. I remember posting it
2020.
though.
Yeah, it was in 2020. I think it was her Christmas card address in 2020. She did some sort of address to the people, and she was wearing that green dress. Yeah. Oh, Lizzie. Oh my
That
gosh.
reminds me of something like out of Aladdin or something as well. I don't know. Like
The black dot in the
Yes.
center. Oh yeah, they had that little dot and then the feathers coming out on their turbans. Yeah. Something to it. Well,
with John Dee, kind of go to like the deepest kind of search results in it, because I think the first stuff is just going to be like, he's just a drunk. He was just a drunk, crazy person. You know, it's going to be a lot of mainstream kind of downplay of everything. So it's probably worth looking for a really kind of low down search for him. Yeah.
the back rooms. You got to look through the back rooms to find the good stuff. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. This was awesome. We'll keep an eye out for the Queen's demise. It's going to happen. She's 96.
Coming soon.
It's coming soon.
Coming to a screen near
Coming
you.
to a theater near you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, this is great. Okay. Well, this concludes our God Save the Queen post-Jubilee extravaganza. And we'll all connect soon. Thank you guys.
Take care.
Cheers, guys. See you later.